Matthias may have some thoughts about what it's like to play with a pianist, of course, because had he been in the same room, we might have played together. And so let me turn it over to Matthias to describe the different practices, whether you're playing with other string players or a pianist. So I'm curious, Matthias, about some things you seem to be interested in, which is when you play with the string quartet, or when you play with other instruments, or when you play with the piano. You mentioned how important it is to work on intonation with the other string players, but let's face it, the piano tuner is not going to come out there the second before the concert and change the piano. So you have to get used to playing in tune, figuratively speaking. I mean, so we match, but not necessarily exactly the pitch you would have picked in the quartet. Is that true?
Absolutely, yeah. In fact, I taught a class the last semester at NIU, and half of the class was about intonation and about the three basic systems that we use, like the just intonation,
Uh-huh.
the equal temperament that usually the pianos are tuned to, or the Pythagorean, which is more melodic. So yeah, absolutely. With the piano, you still have between the notes, you can play a line still melodic, like not, let's say, so the C sharp can still be sharp as long as you don't play it literally with the piano. But without the piano, the beginning of the Mozart G minor quartet, I might play a very low E flat to make it sound more sad. And yeah, I can't do that if it's
Uh-huh.
at
And
least yeah.
and also articulation of the piano and the violin are so different that we can't really ever imitate each other exactly, but we may need to try to approach each other that way.
Yeah, and you have to, as a string player, I mean, we pride ourselves in singing on the violin, but of course the music also needs to speak anyway, whether we play with piano or not,
So
especially in Mozart.
how would you play the Mozart with the if it were a string quartet, and if it's only with the piano or
Yeah,
with the
right,
piano?
right.
What's the difference in how you would play it? Can you show us?
Yes, I could. I mean, with just strings, we may have the choice to play. We could even do a crescendo on
Uh-huh.
and in fact, there are places where the strings play just, when the piano answers.
Right.
So there we might go get away. But basically, because of the natural decay of the piano sound,
It'll have a little more bite and a little
yes,
more.
my ambition always is to be distinct in the timbre of the instrument, but to kind of match the nature of the piano, which means, you know,
Yeah, that's
with
that's
with the
that's very clear. Yeah, thank you.
and it's the same happens in the movement in the second movement of the 17 number 2 Beethoven.
Uh-huh.
um yeah, the piano plays, yes, and later on, it's passed on.
Mhm.
So it would be impossible for the pianist to match that, so as much as any pianist
Accommodate.
will accommodate and play differently with string players,
Uh-huh.
but more the string players have to learn to
Yeah,
speak the language of the piano.
yeah. Thanks.
Mm.